Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome. Let's see. Make sure I got my setup here. How is everyone? This is our first UV resin class in a while, so I'm a little bit rusty. We're trying out a new format. I hope you guys like it. We are here to make some teacher gifts, but also to do just a general introduction to UV resin. So here it is, comes in a little bottle like this, several different size bottles. And this is a resin that hardens under UV light. So that's UV light that comes from a lamp like this one. I'm going to turn it on. You can see it turn on there. Or it cures in the sun, which is super, super cool. And this is like instant gratification crafting, because under UV light, this is going to be curing within just a couple minutes. And so you can go to a completely custom molded plastic piece in just a couple minutes. Unlike other two-part resins, which may take days to cure, you can make a piece of jewelry and wear it within about 10 minutes or so. So we're going to be walking through all the basics, but let me just show you what this is. This is, can you guys see this view here where my spirit fingers are? So these are the projects that we're actually going to be making today. This is a shaker keychain. So there is actually liquid in there and some stuff that shakes around. We're going to be making some little apple earrings and going to be making this colorful lanyard. We have another lanyard over here that just shows a slightly different version of it. So, but before we get to these projects, I just want to show you what it is, what's UV resin, and so you can get a feel for how to use it. So let me move these things out of the way, and I'm going to bring in a mold. And this actually is one of our earring stud molds. So you can see right away that this is a very clear mold, and it needs to be clear when you're working with UV resin, because again, this is curing in the light. So the light needs to be able to reach it. There are other silicone molds out there that are opaque. You see silicone molds for baking and for candy making. You do not want to use those. It will not cure properly. So here's my resin. I am just going to pour it directly from the bottle into one of these shapes here. And I can add glitters, I can add tint, I can add confetti, I can add metal pieces, I can add flowers. So many different things can be added there, but in its purest form, I just want to show you what happens and how quickly it happens. Now this is our UV lamp. And I'm going to kind of show you the bottom of it. You can see those lights are on. When I hit the button once, it runs this light for 1 minute. This is a 9-watt UV lamp. It plugs into a USB, so into your phone charger, into your laptop. And the average cure time for something like this is about 2 minutes, I'd say. So on a timer, it's going to run for 1 minute, and then I can hit it again to run for another minute. But already, so this has been on for less than a minute. I want to show you, it's going to be hard to see because we're dealing with a clear thing here, but can you hear that? Tappity, tappity. It's already hardened from less than a minute. And in fact, I bet you I can pop that out. Now this is not completely cured. Ooh, dropped it. This is not completely cured. I'll put that little dot under the light for just a few more seconds. But you can see how fast this works. And so it really opens up the door for a lot of new ways of crafting that maybe weren't available before. So I do want to encourage you to use the chat function. If you have any questions, please ask us. We will try to either answer your question or via the chat, or I can answer it on air. Okay, so here's our item here. You can see how clear it is. Let me show you the side of it. And so this is what you could use this in a lot of different ways, but the easiest way is probably just to turn this into a stud earring. So the way to do that is you have this special finding here. See these little guys? It's like an earring, but just with a flat pad. And so this would stick onto that flat pad. And I'm going to show you that process later on in the class. Okay, so that's like your basic introduction to what this material is. Now let's make something. All right, so the first thing we're gonna make are actually stud earrings. So these little apple studs are so cute. This has green resin, which we've tinted, and it also has some red glitter and tinted resin. Now those are made using this mold. And so these were included in the supply list. I can tell you that these molds are a little delayed getting to stores and getting up online. So I don't believe this mold is available quite yet for purchase, but it will be any day now. So you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek here. But this is our fruit mold, and this is one of our smaller, flatter molds. You can still see how clear it is. And this has all different fruits in it. We are going to be using this apple and this teeny tiny little apple up here. All right, so next I have a silicone cup. So you'll notice a trend here that things that you do not want resin to stick to are made of silicone. It's this squishy material. So that's why our mixing cups are made of silicone. All right, so I'm just going to take my resin directly out of the bottle, pour a little bit in there. I'm just eyeballing it however I think I need to fill this and this. I mean, that's a little overkill, but, and then I can tint it. So here are tints, and I'll show you what these look like in store. So in store, this is what it looks like. They come in a 3-pack. This one is black, white, and red. Okay, so we're going to put just a tiny little drop in here. These tints are very, very concentrated, so you just need a very tiny bit. You do want to be careful adding too much tint or too much glitter, just because you do not want to block the light. So if you add a lot of tint, if you add a lot of glitter, it just means you have to cure it for a little bit longer. So I went really light on that drop. So that's kind of a pinkish color. I'm going to add another drop in. All righty. So here we go. You can see what that looks like being incorporated. And now I could put this down into my mold exactly like this, but why not add some glitter? If you can add glitter, why not add it? This is just a standard fine glitter that we got at Michael's. I'm going to shake some in here. Actually, I'm going to turn this light on. Maybe you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. All right, so I'm just mixing some glitter in there. You can see I kept it semi-transparent. I could add more glitter. I could add more tint to this if I want, but I'm going to keep it this method. And now I always have a paper towel off here to the side so that I can wipe my stick off. And I think what I want to do first before I do this red color is I want to do the little green stem. So there are 2 ways to do the green stem. Let me first, I'm going to show you both ways. You get another cup, and I'm going to mix a green color. Just need a tiny bit of that and a little bit of yellow. And a tiny bit of blue. This blue is so concentrated. Let's see here. Now, a tip, if you don't want to add too much tint, is add it to the side of your cup. And then I can kind of drag it down inside and control how much blue is getting in there, because it is just this tiny little bit. You'll see how much that turns it blue. Okay. All right, so there's my green. So I wanted to show you this because I can mix, obviously, a green color. The second method of getting a green is this new item that is in stores. This is pre-tinted resin. So it's the exact same stuff that is in here, except it's already tinted green. So this is a brand new item that will be up on michaels.com. You get 4 colors. There's a pink, yellow, blue, and green in this one. And so this pours out of the bottle ready to go. So I just want to show you the difference. So I'm going to do, I'm lifting this up because I want you to see. So I'm going to try to squeeze this green color out directly into this little leaf here and a little bit on the stem. And then in this tiny one up here, this microscopic little apple, I'm going to put the tiniest little dot of green on the stem. And now I'm going to kind of pre-cure that. I'm moving my colors off to the side, bringing the light in, just curing that in place. I wanted to do the green stem first because then I can just kind of flood the rest of the mold with the red color. And always when I have a light going, I move my mixing bowls off to the side because you don't want those to start curing. If they're too close to the light, they'll start curing before you want it to cure. So while this is going, let's talk about safety. You want to work in a well-ventilated area. If you have sensitive skin, if you have had an allergy to resins in the past, wear gloves. And you want to work in an area that's not by an open window because that UV light that's streaming in will start to affect your resin before you want it to. So just be careful with that. All right, so this has been under there for under a minute. Let me show you. So this tappity tap is hardened now, and I can add my red. And so just using the wood stick, I can kind of place that. There's also a spout on here. So, and then because it's so bendable, you can really get into some detail areas with that spout. But I'm just, making sure to get it filled to the top and into all the little nooks and crannies. Same thing with this little guy up here. Okay, very nice. Paper towel so I can wipe the stick off. And this is ready to cure. Let me show you what that'll look like once I pop it out. Okay, so this is what it'll look like when it comes out. We also did one without the glitter so you can see the difference. You can see our green here kind of bled a little bit into the red, but look at what a difference adding that glitter makes. I mean, glitter is always better, right? Okay, so I have these, and then I also have the little guys made off to the side. And this is what this will look like. Tiny, tiny, tiny. So we're going to be using these in our shaker keychain. That's why they're so teensy. Okay, so I'll let that go. I'm going to go over here to our findings. So this went for 1 minute. I don't know if you guys saw that lamp turn off, but I'm going to turn it back on again, just because I want to make sure, since we added tint, since we added glitter, I just want to make sure that that is cured all the way through. All right, so here are our earring findings. These are available in the jewelry aisle at Michaels. I'm just going to grab 2 of them. And it is an earring with a flat pad, as I said. Let's see here. I better let that go. So what we're going to do, another great use of the UV resin is just to use it as an adhesive, which is so handy. You don't need to reach for your super glue or any other adhesive to be able to get a really strong bond between this metal and the resin. So this creates a wonderful strong bond between metal and resin, wood, plastic, glass, really almost anything. My husband does scale modeling, and he uses this as his adhesive to make lots of different things. So it's a wonderful adhesive as well, even if you aren't using it in molds. All right, so here's our apple, and here's the moment of truth when we pop it out. All right, so I'll show you how to attach that back. I just put a little drop onto the back, and then I take this, and I want to put kind of a generous drop because I want that resin to kind of go over the sides of that. Because remember, whatever resin is underneath this gold metal piece, if the light can't hit it, it won't cure. It will remain in its liquid state. So I'm just kind of making sure that that is well seated in there. And then I bring in the lamp and cure. While that's curing, I'll show you this little tiny guy here. There it is. Okay, so my tinies I'm going to set aside for our shaker. All right, do we have any questions from the group?
Actually, Steph, hi, this is Anne Marie here on the East Coast. We have some questions about bubbles. Maybe you could talk about how to deal with bubbles if and when you get some.
Sure, sure. Well, first I can tell you that bubbles in UV resin are very minimal. You don't get a lot of bubbles like you do for two-part resin. Two-part resin is the kind that you have to mix. You have to measure two parts very accurately, mix them together. And that process, the mixing process and the process of combining those two chemicals creates bubbles. So that's notorious for needing a method of getting rid of those bubbles. UV resin is not that. It pours out ready to use. There's no mixing really involved. And so the bubbles that you get are more air bubbles. For example, if you kind of start and stop your pour a lot, you'll get some air bubbles in there. The best way to deal with those is to take your wood stick, take the pointy end of your wood stick, and if it's large enough, you can just pop it. You're not going to have dozens and dozens of bubbles in there to deal with. It's usually like one bubble if you have one at all, and you can pop it. If you can't pop it, I like to use the other end. This stick is so dirty. Let's get a cleaner one. The other end of the stick here, which is like the dough foot, and then just kind of scoop it out or push it to the side of the mold and scoop it out. While we're going to be doing more molded pieces. I'll try to be on the lookout for a bubble, and then I can show you what that looks like. All right, so this has been under there for a little over a minute. So you can see here, that is firmly attached. I can really pull on that. That has a very strong bond on there. And so here is your little apple earring. All right, so let's get into the next project, which is this lanyard. So this is a faux suede cord here. We've made this whole stack of different colored, really they're beads, little discs. And we use those also in a mold. This is another new mold that will be hitting stores any day now. And it's all different flat circles. This mold is so cool because our designer's brilliant. She designed it so that these little like macaroni pieces fit exactly inside another circle. So you can get that half color. So imagine if I did this one in blue, pop that out, put it inside here, you can get a half color. Also, these ones are made to be fit inside another shape, which are great. So to make these shapes came out of this cavity here and this cavity. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, another mixing cup. More resin. And this time I'm also adding glitter. I love to add these colorful glitters to add color. Because then you still have the kind of transparent quality that makes resin so cool looking. But you have glitter. Who doesn't like glitter? So this is just a really pretty light blue glitter. And this is available. I'm going to show you here. This is available in stores now. This is our Mega Findings kit. Not Mega Findings, Mega Filler kit. We also have a Mega Findings kit. But this is the Mega Filler, and you can see it's got all these flaky, cool things that you can put down inside the resin. It's got this extra fine glitter, which is a great basic. It's got dried flowers in it. It's got these little polymer clay slices, little fruits and flowers, and some metal charms and pearls. So this is a great starter item if you just want to have kind of a sampler of cool things to put in your resin. All right, so here is our blue glitter that I'm just going to mix around. And I am going to drop that into our mold. Let me get this a little closer up for you. All right, so using the wood stick, I can kind of just encourage it to fill in. And you don't need to be so precious about this. If you get some of this resin where it shouldn't go up on top of the mold, it's very easy to clean that up and fix that before we cure. So I'll show you that too. So you can see this is a little thicker because I did add quite a lot of glitter in there. All right, so even though it's thicker, you can see it's self-leveling. So if I were to put my stick in there, you can see that it kind of just comes to level itself. So you can see how it was a little bit messy. I can kind of scrape that up a little bit. You know, it will stay in this liquid form so you can play around with it until you're ready to cure it. You could leave this for tomorrow, come back to it. As long as there's no light in your room, this will stay liquid. All right, so that's about cleaned up. Let's put that under the lamp and let that cure. So I've already done that process with all of these. Let me move this up a little. All of these other donut shapes here. Okay, and then here is our, we did a rainbow color here. So I'm going to put these in order, rainbow order of how I want to string them. Here, I want to do that, that, and so mine will go right here when that's done curing. There we go. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to take some of this black faux suede cord, hit that again, and we are going to cut about 36 inches. I'm not even going to measure. I'm just going to kind of eyeball what that is, which is, I think, about this much. So you want to make enough so that this can, it's a lanyard, so you want it to fit over someone's head. So I cut about 36 inches, I'd say. All right. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to move this again, move this up. There we go. So here I've taken my two ends. I have my loop here, my two ends here. Next, I have this great product from Beadalon. These are these little lanyard clips here. So let me grab one of those. And so from the middle of my cord, I'm going to take, I found the middle. This is the middle. I just slide that through. And this is called a lark's head knot, which is just a fancy name for this knot that you guys do all the time, which is you just pull it through the loop. Whoop. I'm just getting it situated there. There you go. You get a good picture of what a lark's head knot is. It's just making a loop and pulling it through. Okay, so now we have this prepped to start stacking our little discs on there. All right, so let me find the end, and I'm going to start with red. Oh, maybe I should cut that. My assistant here, Rosa Vergara, is in the background saying, cut it, cut it. So I'm going to cut it so it's even, and also so that I have a little bit of a diagonal on those cords. Might just make it easier to get through here. All right. So while I do this process, if you have any questions, now is a good time to ask me while I'm just stacking these different pieces up on here. So let me just keep going. I have red. I'm going to try to make this a little higher so you can see what I am doing. Gold. This is green. All right, now's time for the unmolding. You can see how easy it pops out too. Whoop. There it is. Piece we just made. He goes on. And I think it really looks cool if some of your pieces are fine glitter, some of it have little confetti flakes. It just adds to the overall texture of this little rainbow stack. And then end with a small one. Okay, so there's my stack. I'm going to pull it all the way down here to rest against this knot. And then I tie just a simple overhand knot to hold those in place. There we go. Easy peasy, right? And now to finish, because that is all this is to finish, we find the end again, our two ends, and again, a simple overhand knot. We don't need to use any special findings here. When you're dealing with suede cord, it holds a knot really well. And there you go. There's your lanyard, perfect for teacher. Okay. All right. So now we are ready for this project. We were trying to step you guys up in terms of difficulty. This is our kind of medium level project here. This is a shaker. You can see it has liquid in it. This is baby oil inside there. So you can make a wet shaker or you can make a dry shaker. Same thing, except the dry shaker, you know, it shakes around like a maraca inside, and this just moves around like a snow globe inside. So I'm going to show you how to make this. This also is a new mold. Here's the mold. And these molds come with, open this up, comes with the mold, but it also comes with these little acetate circles. Let me get one of these. So this is just acetate film, and this is what we use to put on the top of the shaker to hold the contents inside. Let me show you now. If you do not have this film, if you don't have this exact mold, this acetate is the great way to reuse your packaging. Reduce, reuse, recycle. This material here can be cut up and used as in the same way that we'll use this. So that's just a little FYI for you. Okay, so here's our mold. And we are going to fill this with gold glitter. Oh, thank you. Thank And I need a cup to do that. I have used all my cups. No, I haven't. I have another cup right here. Okay, so this we're going to pour quite a bit of resin because I need to fill this whole shape. So let me pour quite a bit in here. And so again, I can tint this whatever color I want. I can use glitter, and that's actually what I'm going to do is use glitter on this one. As soon as I can find, there it is, gold glitter. Shake a little bit of that in there, or a lot of it in there. And let's mix this up. All right. So this is ready. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, if you've done any sort of wide flat shapes like this, layers are your friend in UV resin world. It never hurts to do layers. So what I don't want you to do is just fill this whole thing with resin and cure it, because you might get a little bit of funkiness, a little bit of warping, even if it's a wide flat shape. So to try to mitigate that, I'm going to do this in layers. So my first layer is going to be just around the edge. So the edge has this channel, and I am going to be very messy about this, I'm sure, but I'm just going to try to fill this into this channel. And using my wood stick, I can encourage it to go down in there. You're going to go through some very sloppy, messy stages here. Don't let your OCD win. It will all turn out beautiful in the end. So just sometimes you have to go through some ugly phases here. So I'm just kind of encouraging this to go down inside this mold. I also want to encourage it to go around the top. That's top part is how we get this little loop on the top. So I want to make sure that that is all the way filled in. And then sometimes what I like to do is just squeeze. See, by squeezing the mold, I just want to make sure I didn't get any air pockets in there. So by squeezing it, it kind of like can displace where the resin is inside the mold. And then I can also, because it's so clear, I can just look. I'm looking through this sidewall. I don't want to turn this too much. Looking through the sidewall just to make sure that that resin is down in that little channel. And I can kind of just scrape it. You do want to make sure that there are no air bubbles, especially if you intend on using this as a wet shaker, because this needs to be watertight. Okay. All right, well, I think this is good. We're going to pre-cure it just like that. So this is our first layer. It's going down to be cured. Now I still have this whole thing of resin, which I'm moving to the side because I don't want that to start curing. And so while that's doing, I'm going to kind of gather some of the things that I'm going to put inside here. So I have some of these rainbow, these are polymer clay slices, little rainbows. We have, that is part of our polymer clay, like mega filler. These are all different slices. You can see we've got candies and little animals, flowers, fruits, these little butterflies. These are so fun to put down inside the resin. I love these. And then, so of that, we're going to use rainbows. We're going to use these little tiny pearls. These are not beads because they don't have a hole in them, but they are little plastic pearls. We're going to put these little mini guys that we did earlier. We're going to put this one in there. And then also we're going to use some of these little glitter flakes. So you can fill your shaker with whatever you want. Basically, you can put metal in there, plastic, polymer clay, glass, really almost any material that is non-porous can go down inside your shaker. That's kind of the fun part of dressing up your shaker. But these are the items that we're going to be using. Actually, let me put these here. All right, so I want to let this go. This went for 1 minute. I turned it back on. I just really want to make sure that this is fully cured. So that was 2 minutes. And kind of see what it looks like. And now I'm going to fill the rest of it. And then using my wood stick to just encourage it to go all the way to the edges. And I'm going to show you a tip on how to clean these silicone cups, by the way. The easiest way, because when you're left with this, the easiest way to clean them is just secure that under the light. I don't want to hit the lamp on right at this moment, but just making sure that this little loop. Okay. Here we go. All right. I think that is ready. Fingers crossed here. And now as I'm curing this one, I'm just going to cure my cup under there too. That's the easiest way to clean up. It's easier to clean up when it's hardened already than when it's still kind of liquidy. So once it's hardened, we can just pop that out. Okay, we have a question here. What kit includes the shaker mold? That mold is sold by itself. I'll show you here. Well, we opened that package, but this is another shaker mold, by the way. This is a skull shaker mold, and it comes, each of our molds, if it uses special findings or uses special parts, we include the parts. So this one comes with some keychains. Here's the shaker mold that we're using. So it comes just with the mold and the little acetate discs. And these acetate discs, by the way, have a little protective coating so that they don't get scratched sitting in this package. So just make sure that you take that off before you do that. I want to remind you about that so I don't forget. Okay, so now this one, I'm going to let this cure a few times. If you are using the sunlight's actually my favorite way of curing, because nothing can match the pure UV light that you're getting from the sun. And we live in Southern California, so we have beautiful sun here year round. So if I were putting this outside on a sunny day, maybe 5 minutes, and it will be perfectly cured. One of the challenges, the questions that we always get in each class is about tackiness. So that is a common challenge with UV resin. The surface layer can remain just slightly tacky when using a lamp. And I always tell people, if your items are tacky, put them in the sun for 2-3 minutes and that tackiness is gone. All right, so I'm going to let that one go. I pulled this cup out and you can see for cleanup, you can just like pop that out. And now you have pretty much a clean cup. If you're left with any little bit of residue, you can see this residue here. The easiest way to get that out is just with some Scotch tape. You know, if you can just stick some tape on there, like removing lint is the easiest way to remove that little bit of glitter. Okay. All right, so this is going. Also, we are going to stick some stickers. It's another great way. So let me show you some sticker options. We got these stickers at Michael's. These are just some letter stickers to create a 3-letter monogram. We also have, there's lots of beautiful stickers at Michael's, as you guys know. Any of these are can be great to use. We love this one as well. It just didn't fit as well on the front of this. You couldn't see it as well because it was gold. That's the only reason we didn't use these monogram stickers. But there's these ones as well. Lots of great options in store. But we are going to be using these stickers here for the front. All right, so I've got my stickers prepped, got my acetate, I've got my keychain findings here. All right, so now that's been 3 minutes. Let's pop it out. You'll notice when it comes out of the light that it will be warm to the touch. This is warm. And that's because there is actually a chemical reaction that's taking place, and heat is a byproduct of it. All right, so I just kind of loosen it from the sides. And here it is. So it creates like this little tray. And I went a little overzealous here in the loop. You can see from the side that I got a little too much resin, but I just actually, you saw, I just went in with my thumbnail and just kind of picked that off. If you have any superfluous resin, take some little like side nippers, nip that off. You have any rough edges, you can also go in with an emery board and knock off like right here. Kind of, can you see? There's like a little like piece there. I can just kind of knock that off with my emery board. And now it's totally clear. So it is normal to have an imperfect thing come out of your mold, but there are ways of working with it. Okay, so these edges are smooth. This is looking good. Okay, so here is where we get to have fun and decorate and put whatever we want inside here. So I'm going to put a big apple, a couple small apples. I'm going to put some of these little sprinklies. And some of these. And a little bit of gold flake. And again, you can fill your shaker with whatever you want. Now, if this was a wet shaker, I would take baby oil and fill this to the top. Okay, I'm not going to do that today because I want to just make a dry shaker, but it's just baby oil, fill it to the top. Now here is our acetate circle, and I've taken the film off of that, and I'm going to put it down on here. And the way that I adhere this down is, you can see the static cling. It's static clinged. The way that I set that down is with UV resin. So just carefully going around the edge, I want to put a little bead of resin all the way around here, because we are going to be using this as an adhesive, and the thing that we're sticking on is clear. So the light can go right through that thing. All right, and set that down on top. Now, before I cure it, I just want to make sure that I have this centered and kind of tamped down all the way. And then if I got any like excess resin around the edge here, you can go in with a Q-tip. A wet paper towel works really well. In fact, I'm going to wet this paper towel and go around here at the edges, just because once that's cured, it's hard plastic. It's easier to clean it up when it's still liquid. All right, making sure it's still centered, and let's cure. You guys are a quiet bunch today. Normally there's a little more chat action happening. I encourage you guys to try this out and to post your creations on social media. So while this is curing, I'll do that little call to action here. So we love to see what you make with our products. And for us to see it, post your creations with the hashtag UVResinCraft. And always, when using Michael's products, hashtag make it with Michael's. You can connect with me on Instagram at Stephanie Menor Creates. I love to see what you guys make. It just completely makes my day to see all of your creativity. So please consider sharing your work. All right, so we are just letting this cure. Ah, Paula. Thank you, Paula. All right, I'm gonna let that go a little longer. And now this, like I said, I love to cure in the sun. So if I was doing this at home and not in a class, I would probably cure under the light. And then when I'm done with it, I'd probably set it outside for a couple minutes. And actually, while we're doing this, we do have time to do a little bit of a show and tell. So I want to show you. So we have tons of molds available. What we've shown you are kind of keychain molds, earring molds. We also have a bangle mold. So these are bracelet bangles. Move that off to the side. And I want to show you different things that we put inside the bangles. So this is dried flowers. All different colored dried flowers. This is just glitter and glitter flakes. Here we took seed beads and just clustered them in there and filled it with resin. And now we have a beautiful seed bead bangle. Here we took some letter beads and made some little phrases around here and put those in the resin. And this we use, these are little candies, sprinkles from the grocery store that actually work inside of resin. Look how cool that is. So I wanted to show you the versatility of what you can put inside of it. Yeah. All right, so while this is going, we can also get our findings ready too. So here you can see we're going to add a little bit of chain and a key ring. So here I have that little bit of chain. I have these two things. These are called jump rings. It's a basic building block of jewelry. And then we have our keychain here. How do I, okay, question from Leslie about the bangles. How do I make those? What do I purchase? So here is our bangle mold. This is what the mold looks like. And so it creates that full round. Here's what it looks like in stores. But this is what it is. So you see you have this channel here to put down inside. You fill it to the top. So that is what the mold looks like. All right, so this has gone a few times. So this is not very shaky, but you see all my stuff inside there. All right, let us put our monogram stickers. So here we did a 3-letter monogram. So let's try L. So I'm going to situate that right in the middle as best as I can. And I'm just picking these letters at random. But who doesn't love receiving a personalized gift with their 3-letter monogram? And there you go. Now these stickers stick very well on here, but if you wanted to make this permanent, you could go over the top of these stickers with, in fact, over the top of the whole thing with another layer of clear resin. That would give it a little more of a finished appearance on the front and just kind of hold that very securely. All right, so now that part's done, and I go in with my tools. And here I have my jump ring. So this is just a little circle of metal that's cut in the middle. You can see the break there. So I go in with 2 tools, 2 pliers, and I bring 1 plier toward me and one away from me. And that's how you open a jump ring. So then once the jump ring's open, you can attach that to the top loop and to your chain, and you close it in the same motion. Okay, so now we have our chain attached. And then on the other side, same thing, jump ring, 2 pliers. Oops, these are just a little slip right here. Open that and use that jump ring to attach your key ring and close it in the same motion. And the reason you want to do that is because if you try to close it, like open it this way, you'll never get that circle back. That's why you open it this way. All right. So there is our little shaker. This is a dry shaker. We had added the baby oil to this one to be more of a wet shaker. And those are our projects. I want to thank you for joining us. Let me bring the projects back in here. We had this lanyard and this lanyard. This is just another version of the lanyard that we made, slightly different. We made some beads. These are beads that we made from a silicone mold. And we made a custom little tag here with a name, but same basic construction. And again, if you do decide to make something, please hashtag UV Resin Craft, hashtag Make It With Michaels, and connect with me so I can see all of your creations. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you guys try it out. Thank you.